Hey, Jeremiah. Good. And let me start that video. Okay, I'm just going to pause the recording.
Yeah, it started automatically when I joined.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if I can.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight, we're going to learn more about Murray State University. And I want to thank all of you for being here. Before I pass it off to Tyson, I wanted to share a few things with you about the Accelerate platform and where to find Murray State University on the Accelerate platform. So as all of you are Accelerate agents, you all have access to the Accelerate platform and you can log in and view this. So when you log into the Accelerate platform and you want to find them, you can go into the course search area. And you can, as you can see, I did above, and I just searched for Murray, and we found Murray State University here. This is where you can find more information about their institution. Some great information here at a glance. There's some videos here to learn more about them. You have some great marketing materials here available as well. And a lot of key information is here in the training and FAQ area that has a training video here, which is going to be a lot of similar information that we're going to cover in this webinar today. But there's also more in-depth information here in the FAQ. Another area which is great source is the courses tab, and I'm going to go over here. And when you click on the courses tab, it's going to, I've already done it here, it has all of the courses that are offered at Murray State University on the Accelerate platform. And each of these courses, you can see that if they're undergraduate, if they're 4 years, if they have CPT eligible, if they're STEM, which is a great draw for our students to stay in the United States for an additional year after they, so all students in the United States, when they're complete their undergraduate or graduate programs, they can do post-completion optional practical training for 1 year, but if it's STEM, they can do 2 years. So you can click on each of these majors to learn more. So I already clicked on this one, the accounting, to learn more about the programs, scholarship opportunities available, some graduate outcomes for this, the admissions requirements. And here, as Accelerate agents, you can click on this create an application here, and this is where you can start the application for your students right here on the platform. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but I'm excited to welcome Tyson Mannering with us today. Tyson serves as and I hope I get this right, the Director of International Recruitment Operations Manager at Murray State University, which is located in Murray, Kentucky in the United States. And I'm going to pass it off to Tyson to share more about it. If you have questions throughout this presentation, please post your questions in the chat bar. And after Tyson's presentation, we'll go over those together. So Tyson, I'm going to pass it off to you.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jeremiah. I appreciate the introduction, and it's really a pleasure to be here with you all. It's really great to have a lot of interest in Murray State University, and I really appreciate the platform that Accelerate has for counselors to help their students apply for admission. It's really great. So my name is Tyson Mannering. I'm Director of International Recruitment here at Murray State University, as Jeremiah mentioned. I help international students apply for admission. I also work with our partners like yourselves. And so I'm going to give you just a little overview of our university. So you can see here Murray State University is located in the United States. We're a public university in Kentucky, and our university was established in 1922. So next year will be our 100-year anniversary. We're looking forward to that. We have international students at our university from over 50 countries around the world. We have students from Europe and Asia, Southeast Asia, South America, the Middle East. You know, we have students coming from many parts of the world to our university. We are considered one of America's best colleges. This is by Forbes magazine, and we also get very good rankings as well from US News and World Report as being a top tier university in the United States and that we've had that recognition now for 30 years. So we have a very strong academic offering here at Murray State University. We're also very affordable, and the environment here is very welcoming and very friendly for international students. you can see here, these are the bachelor's programs that we offer at Murray State University. So we have over 90 bachelor's degrees here. And our bachelor's programs are very popular with international students. For example, agriculture, computer science, engineering, economics. You know, we have a very strong College of Business. So you have business administration and management, but we also have programs in nursing and health. If you are working with students who are interested in teaching English, for example, we have a very good TESOL program here. So we have a lot of really strong bachelor's degree programs here at Murray State University. Our bachelor's programs, and this is how it works in the United States, bachelor's degree programs are typically 4 years in duration. And so how it works is a student coming here for their bachelor's degree will typically take what we call general studies courses. These are more general courses such as, you know, English and science and math and art and history. And students will take these courses usually for the first year to the first year and a half of their study here. And then once they get maybe into their second year, third year, then they really start to focus in on their major. So by the second year and third year, students will be taking many courses in their major or their concentration. And here you can see these are the master's programs that we offer at Murray State University. And so we have a great set of master's programs here. A lot of our international students, I would say about half of our international students are actually here for master's degrees. So you can see these programs are some of the most popular ones we have. Agriculture is very popular. We have a really strong Master of Business Administration program. It's accredited by AACSB. And so there are only about 800 universities in the world that have this accreditation by AACSB for their MBA program. And basically what this means is, you know, the professors, the education, everything is very strong with this program, business administration. Increasingly, we're seeing a lot of interest in our Earth and Environmental Sciences program. We have a very good economic development program as well. Our most popular program for international students is information systems. And so this is business and analytics, data warehousing, and software development. So this is a very popular program right now. A lot of students are wanting to go into the IT fields. And so, you know, if you're working with a student interested in going into computer science or business analytics or IT, definitely, you know, encourage them to apply for our information systems program. Mass communications, another very popular program we have. There's a concentration that students can do in public relations. So this is very popular as well, mass communications. And then on the right-hand side here, you can see some of the other programs we offer. Public administration. This is a great master's program, and there's a concentration in this program for students to do public health. So if you have students interested in public health, public administration, excellent program that we have. And then also a few of the other ones here, I mentioned it for the undergraduate students, but we have a great TESOL program that's teaching English. We've had a lot of international students over the years come for that program as well. So our master's programs are typically completed in 1.5 to 2 years. Some programs, you know, if a student wants to complete the program quickly, they can do it in 1 year, but typically master's programs take about 1.5 years. There are usually 30 to 36 credits that a student would need to graduate. And so basically, you know, a student, and I'll get into this in a little bit later, but the tuition that the student pays is based on the credits that they take. So students typically take 6 to 9 credits per semester. Now, another important thing to note here on this slide is the STEM designation. So in the United States, when a student comes here, they come with a student visa, and when they graduate, students can keep their student visa and they can work. We call that OPT, optional practical training. And the advantage of being in a STEM program, that's science, technology, engineering, mathematics. The advantage of being in one of those programs is the student will be able to keep their student visa and work for up to 3 years after graduation. So this is a really, a lot of international students want to be in a STEM program because it gives them 3 years to work in the US. If they're in a non-STEM program, for example, business administration, they can still work after they graduate. They can keep their student visa, but it's only for one year of work experience. So that's why, you know, our information systems program is very, very popular right now, because, you know, there are a lot of jobs in IT, and, you know, students are finding really good employment when they graduate, and it's a STEM program. So they can keep their student visa and they can work for 3 years after they graduate. And just a little overview here of our language proficiency scores, the required scores in order to apply for admission to bachelor's and master's programs. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, Duolingo, and we also accept Cambridge exams. So you can see our IELTS minimum is 5.5, the TOEFL minimum is 61, PTE minimum is 45, and increasingly we're seeing a lot of students taking the Duolingo test. The minimum Duolingo score is 90. So we do accept the Duolingo test. We had actually this last week, we had 130 new international students that came to Murray State. We were very happy to have a great group of new students that came here, new international students, and a lot of them had applied using Duolingo scores. I know there was some, maybe some rumors or some confusion, you know, can students actually take the Duolingo test, and can they use it to get admission, and will they be able to get a visa, you know, if they have the Duolingo scores? And yes, you know, we at Murray State University, we accept the Duolingo test. And I can confirm with you that, you know, a lot of our students who got the visa and who came here, they took the Duolingo. So you can encourage your students to take that test. But we also accept IELTS and TOEFL as well. Some of our master's programs will require a higher score than what you see listed here. So those would be programs such as English literature or teaching English, you know, some of the programs that require a higher level of English ability. But generally speaking, most of our master's programs will accept these test scores for direct admission. And then all of our bachelor's programs will accept these test scores. Now, if you see here, I also have the minimum GPA requirement listed. So for bachelor students, it's 2.0 out of the 4-point scale that we have here in the US. And then for the master's applications, generally speaking, a 3.0 GPA is required for most programs. We do have some programs that will accept slightly lower GPA scores, 2.5 for some programs. And we have a really good a thing that happened recently, which is the waivers for GRE scores. So we're able to offer a waiver for students applying to the information systems program, and then also students applying to the MBA. And so previously the GRE was required, it was mandatory to have a GRE test score in order to apply for these programs. But currently, as long as a student has a 3.0 GPA, they can apply for information systems. They can also apply for the MBA program without GRE scores. And so I think that'll help a lot of your students. We're really happy about that. And so these are two fantastic programs that we have, and we don't require the GRE score currently. So definitely encourage your students to apply for those programs. Now, another thing to take into consideration is we do waive the language test requirement for students from certain countries. So for example, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, the UK, Canada, Australia, if you have a student that's from one of those countries, they can come to Murray State University. They don't need to take the language proficiency exam like IELTS or TOEFL. Also, if you've had a student who has a degree from one of those countries, maybe, for example, you're working with a student who earned their bachelor's degree from Australia and they want to come to Murray State University, they can come here. They don't need to take any of the language tests. Also, typically we would accept only 4-year bachelor's degrees, but there are certain 3-year degrees from India that we're able to accept. I'm not sure if anybody listening today is from India, but if you're working with any students who have a 3-year bachelor's degree from India, we are able to accept the 3-year bachelor's degree as well. Okay, this is a very important part of the presentation. It's related to cost of attendance. And so Murray State University, that's one of the things that our international students appreciate the most about our university is the affordability. Our tuition is very affordable, and it's a great value when you compare it to other universities in the US. Studying in the US is expensive, and so what we have tried to do at Murray State is we've lowered our tuition for international students. And so actually international students at our university, they pay the same tuition that American students pay. So this is something that, is very attractive for international students. You can see here for the bachelor's degree students, the tuition is $14,000 per year. Housing, you have housing and unlimited meals. And the total cost of attendance, with everything included, tuition, housing, meals, books, insurance, comes out to about $26,000 US. And for the master's students, it depends on the program that they're studying, but generally speaking, the tuition is about $8,000 per year for 2 years. So the total cost of tuition for a master's degree student will be about $16,000. So that'll be about $8,000 the first year and then $8,000 the second year for the master's students. And again, this is very affordable. When you compare this, Murray State University's rankings, quality of education, when you look at that and you look at our cost, it's very, very attractive for international students. Another thing that we offer here, I mentioned this in the beginning, we're a large university, but we're in a small town. We're in what we would call a college town or a university town. And so the cost of living here is very low. If you live in a big city in the United States, it's very expensive to rent an apartment, food, everything is very expensive there. But here where we are, we have the same facilities, the same roads, same shops, everything's basically the same, but it's much more affordable. And so we actually have a lot of our master's students. I'll give you an example. Our master's students typically spend about $300 per month for their housing. So that's very affordable. We have on-campus apartments, and master's students will have a roommate. There'll be 2 students in one apartment. It's a private kitchen, private bathroom, private living room, and each student pays $300 per month. So you can't find that in too many places. Now, another thing that will help your students with their budget, we also have scholarships for international students. And so we have transfer scholarships. These are for students who have done 2 years of their bachelor's degree in their home country and they want to come to Murray State University. We will actually give them a $1,500 scholarship as long as they have a 3.25 GPA. So this would be great. We do have students coming here who, they've started their bachelor's degree in their home country and they want to finish their degree here. We can transfer their credits. We'll accept their previous coursework, and then we'll also give them a scholarship. The International Leadership Scholarship, this is a $1,000 scholarship for students who have done a lot of community service or volunteer work, or students who have shown participation in their school in the past. And so we have a good number of these scholarships available. The International Leadership Scholarship, it's $1,000 per year. Once a student applies and is admitted to Murray State, we encourage all of our international students to submit we call it the general scholarship application, and students will get access to their student account once they're admitted, and then they can log in and they can submit the general scholarship application. So definitely, encourage all your students to apply for the scholarships, because we have a good number of them available, and they're specifically for international students. Another thing that will help students with their budget is the on-campus jobs that we offer. So we have, we're a large university. We have a cafeteria, a library, a fitness center, many different facilities here on campus. And what's good about that is students can work on campus. And so students can work in those places. They can work up to 20 hours a week, and they can earn actually a pretty good amount of money. They can earn about $600 per month from working on campus. So this is another way that it helps students with their budget, and the jobs are easy to find. At the beginning of each semester, the students come here and they're able to find jobs. So we try to be as affordable as we can, and we international students are attracted by the affordable tuition rate that we have. Okay, I want to talk just a little bit now about our English language program. So we have, in addition to the bachelor's degrees, the master's degrees, we also have an English language program at Murray State University. So this is a program that we administer, and it's a fantastic program because it gives students the ability to get conditional admission. So for example, if you're working with a student who needs practice with their English, they can apply for conditional admission. They can start in our English language program, and then when they finish the English language program, they would be able to start their university degree, either the bachelor's or the master's degree. Every level in the English language program is 8 weeks in length, and so we have six levels. And what we will do is when a student arrives to campus, or even beforehand, we will give them a placement test, and we will put them in the level that's best for them, best for their abilities. And so, for example, if a student, starts in level 5, they would complete level 5, complete level 6, and then when they finish level 6, then they would be able to go ahead and start their university degree. We have starting dates all throughout the year. We have 5 starting dates. So the next one would be in October, and then we have a starting date in January, one in March, one in June, and another starting date in August. So our classes are starting very frequently. And we also have, it's a very small class size. So it's a great opportunity for students to be able to practice their English, practice their academic English, which will prepare them for their university classes. This program is also similar to our bachelor's tuition and our master's tuition. This program is very, very affordable. So for one semester, which is 16 weeks, so that would be 2 levels of 16 weeks, the estimated cost, including tuition and all the living expenses, is $8,400. So this is very affordable, and I think it would be great for some of your students, that need a little bit more practice with their English language. Definitely encourage them to come for the English language program. Okay, I want to talk now just a little bit about some of the services and the facilities that we have available for international students here at Murray State University. Somebody have a question?
If you could please post your questions in the chat bar, and if you're not, please mute your microphone, please. We'll answer all questions at the end. Thank you.
We have a large university campus here at Murray State, and so these are some of the different facilities and some of the services that we have available for students. And so I work in the International Student Office. We have a team here of admissions officers and student advisors. And so we want international students to come to us if they need anything. We call it the one-stop shop. So if students need any assistance, they come to us. We want to make sure students have a great experience here at Murray State University. So we do everything we can to help. Another great service that is available for students is the Career Service Office. And so this is really important for students because a lot of students want to work. You know, they want to find a really good position when they graduate. And so we encourage our students to go to the Career Service Office. This office arranges for training and preparation so students know how to apply for jobs. There are also job fairs every year that we have. And so this is a great opportunity for students to be able to meet the future employers. We have a health service office here on campus. Excuse me. We have a really good health service office here on campus. So if students aren't feeling well, they can always go to the health center. We have a gym, we call it the Wellness Center. So this is an indoor exercise area. There's an indoor swimming pool. There's a lot of equipment and ways for students to stay healthy and to get involved with the different sports as well. And then we have different dining venues on campus. So we have a cafeteria, we have several restaurants and coffee shops. So it's really a great environment for students, a lot of ways to get involved and a lot of ways to meet other students. That's what we want. You know, it's a big college, 9,500 students total. So for a lot of the international students, you know, they come here, they study, you know, they focus on their academics, but at the same time, you know, getting involved on campus and meeting people, that's really part of the American college experience as well. So we encourage the international students to really get involved. We have 9 residence halls here on campus. And so the undergraduate students, you know, the students who are starting their bachelor's degree, or, you know, the students who are younger, under 21, they would live on campus in one of the residence halls. So these are, again, great places to meet people, very safe, very close to everything. And then for the master's students, I was mentioning earlier, we have on-campus apartments. And so they can live, the master's students, a lot of them prefer to live on campus just because everything is very close and it's very affordable, $300 per month. And then we have over 150 clubs and organizations here. So a student who's interested in, you know, for example, a student is interested in computer science. We have a computer science club, or engineering. We have an engineering club that they do competitions, and there's an international student organization, and there's a various student organizations, you know, academic or like I said, the international student organization. There are just a lot of ways for students to meet people and to get involved. All right, and I just want to show you a few photos of our campus. We have a really beautiful campus, 62 buildings here at Murray State University. And what's really nice is everything is close together. For international students, you know, walking from one side of campus to the other, it takes about 10 or 15 minutes. So it's a big campus, but everything's close together. So students, they don't need to have a car, you know, they can walk from one side to the other. Even the supermarket that we have is just across the street. So it's really convenient, very well set up for international students. And you can see here, this is our international student organization. So we have a lot of the organization, they have a lot of events, and they do a lot of activities for international students to make sure they have a good experience here. So I would just like to say thank you so much. Again, my name is Tyson. I work here at Murray State University, and we're very proud to have international students on our campus. And so I'm also really thankful to Accelerate and Jeremiah and Francesca, and thankful to you for listening. And so I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks a lot.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tyson.
Thank you.
So that was great and covered a lot of information. And I'm going to open it up now to questions from all of our participants today. So please feel free to ask any questions in the chat bar, and I'll go ahead and ask those for Tyson. We'll wait just a minute. If not, I got a couple of questions for you, Tyson, to keep you going. So Tyson, I guess I'll start with a quick question. Where are the majority of your international students come from at this time? Where would you say the majority of your students come from?
Sure, yeah. So our students come from, we have students from over 50 countries currently at Murray State University. Most of our students are from, different areas, actually, very diverse. We have students from Europe, we have students from Korea, we have students from Japan, we have students from the Middle East, from South America. So we have a really diverse group of students here at Murray State, which we're very proud of that. We're very proud of that. And we have faculty as well, that come from, they're originally from different places, but they come here to Murray State to teach. And so we have a really diverse group of students. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyson. Others in attendance, we have 26 agents here, which is great to see. Do any of you have questions for Tyson about Murray State University? Or especially maybe their English program? I actually know some faculty who teach at Murray State in the English program, so I can vouch for how good of a program it is.
We have 30 students this semester in our English program. We're really happy about that. For the last year and a half, it's been difficult. We were teaching students online through Zoom, but this semester we have students, 30 brand new students for the English language program. So we're really happy about that, and we're planning some activities as well. We have in addition, to the instruction they get in the classroom, we have a conversation partners program. And so we match each student, we will match them with an American student. And so they will meet once a week and they'll talk about culture and food. And it's a great opportunity for the ESL students to learn about American culture, while they're here, but also at the same time, it's good for them to be able to practice their conversation. So yeah, we have a really strong English language program here.
Excellent. So I see a couple questions coming in here. It was one that you've already covered, but it'd be great to recap a little bit because we did have some people coming in late. Can you talk more about the intakes and when the applications are open for each intake?
Okay, great. I don't think I covered that. So that's good. That's a good question. Thank you. Yes. So we have, for university students, we have 2 intakes. We have a January intake, and then we have an August intake. So for us, our fall semester, that begins in August, and then the spring semester, that begins in January. So that's, we're accepting applications now for the January spring semester. The deadline is for master's applications. The deadline is October 15th. And for bachelor's applications, the deadline is November 15th. So now is a great time to apply. Our admissions office we're processing applications as quickly as we can. Our turnaround time is usually for undergrad students, usually about 1 week, and for master's applications, usually it's about 3 weeks. And so yeah, now is a great time to apply. The visa approval rate, that's one thing I wanted to mention also, is very good right now. We had 100, like I said, we had 130 new students who came just last week to Murray State. So the visa approval is very good right now. The embassies are opening, which is also good. You know, there was a time there when a lot of the embassies were closed and students were, you know, they had their I-20, but they weren't able to get the appointment at the embassy. But right now it's very good. I think most of the embassies are open and students are getting their visas. So yeah, you still have some time. October 15th is the deadline. And then we can also be flexible too, Jeremiah, you know, so
Excellent.
there's some flexibility there too. Yeah.
Another question was, do you have any Indonesian students or Asian students in general, and how's the ratio of those students?
Sure. We've always had a few Indonesian students. Right now, we don't have any actually. I'm really sad to tell you that. I wish we did have some. So maybe you can help us there. But we actually have several faculty members that are professors here at Murray State University. They're originally, you know, from Indonesia. And typically, you know, we always have, you know, 2 or 3 Indonesian students. A few of our students, they graduated, you know, in 2019, and then, you know, 2020, we didn't really have many new students coming because of the pandemic. But yes, we have a history of having Indonesian students. So I hope you can send a few of your students to us. We would appreciate that. And then as far as the other countries, yeah, Vietnam, we have students, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, we do, you know, the Southeast Asia region, you know, we have students from all those countries.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tyson. We do see, I see Teresa sharing her email there for Celset Education Center, so we can make note of that. We have another question here about the fees for accommodations for undergraduate international students for each semester.
Sure, absolutely. So we have 9 residence halls here on campus, and the fee depends on which residence hall the student chooses. But basically, starting at about $2,500 per semester, up to about $3,500 per semester. It just depends on the room type. Some of our rooms are shared rooms, so there'll be, you know, 2 students in one room, and they will share a bathroom with 2 other students in another room. And then some of the designs are a student will have their own private room, and then they will share the bathroom and the living area with 3 other people. So it really just depends on the setup, but anywhere between 2,500 up to 3,500 for the residence hall room. Now, if you're working with a master's student or a student who is 21 or older, they can live in college courts, and that's our on-campus apartments. And those are very affordable. $300 if you have a roommate, $300 per month, and that's with furniture, electricity, you know, laundry, internet, everything included. So our housing rates are very affordable here also. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tyson. Another question here is about transfer students. And I know you already mentioned about the transfer scholarships, which is great. They ask, what is the minimum GPA to gain credit approval from Murray State? And is there a maximum limit for the granted credits as well?
Sure. Yeah, that's a really good question. So there's no minimum. To transfer here, the student would need an overall GPA of 2.0 or higher. That's to get admission as a transfer student. And then in order to have their courses transferred here, basically any course that they received a D, I know it sounds low, but any course that they received a D or higher in, a grade of D or higher, they would get credit for that here at Murray State. So, you know, it's fairly easy. We have a lot of students that transfer their credits here. That's not a problem at all. The other question that they had, that you had, was about basically, I think, you know, how long would it take for them to get the bachelor's degree? And so students would need to be in residence here at Murray State for at least 1 year. So the minimum amount of time that it would require would be 1 year. So you can, kind of take that into consideration, when you're helping your students. But generally, we accept almost all the courses that a student has previously taken. And now what can happen though, sometimes, for example, if a student has been studying, let's say engineering in Vietnam, right? And then they want to come to Murray State and they want to do computer science. Well, those courses in engineering will transfer to Murray State, but they won't all apply toward a different degree in computer science. But if the student is transferring, from engineering in Vietnam to engineering here at Murray State, then there's a very good chance that almost all the credits will transfer.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tyson, for those details. A question about the deposits for tuition fees. So do you require it? So the question says, have you gotten a request for a deposit of tuition fee when a student applies or not? So do you require deposits for initially, I think is the question. And if I'm not asking this correctly, Trust Education, please feel free to ask it in a different way.
No, I think that's a good question. So we do not require a deposit. So students will, they apply for admission through Accelerate, and then we issue the admission letter and the I-20, and students, they don't need to pay anything until they come here and they get registered for courses. And actually, we give students a little bit of time, especially the new students. They've just arrived, they're getting settled in. We give them some extra time to make that first payment. So students can basically, they will pay for the courses that they're registered for. So they only need to pay for, what they owe for that very semester. And the other thing they can do, we have a payment plan. And so students can pay all of the fees for the semester in the beginning, or they can do a payment plan where they pay in installments. We have 3 installments. And so that's another option for students. So yeah.
All right, it looks like, is there any other final questions for Tyson? I think this has been a great session with a lot of great questions as well. Well, if not, thank you all so much for being here today. Just a reminder, you are all Accelerate agents. Oh, we do have one more before I close this out. So will the campus issue a conditional offer letter if the students still have the IELTS or their language scores pending?
Yeah, so we have basically, if, what I would recommend in that situation, if the student is preparing to take the IELTS, or they've just taken the IELTS and they're waiting on the scores to come in, you can go ahead and apply for admission, but we won't do a lot with their application if we're missing the IELTS scores. So once the IELTS scores are available, then we will process the application for, direct admission to bachelor's or master's. If the student, thinks that maybe their English isn't so good, or, if they need some extra practice in their English, then apply for conditional admission through our English language program. So you've got really those 2 options, English language program plus bachelor's or master's, or the other option is the direct admission application if the student has IELTS or TOEFL. I hope that answered the question.
Yes, and I think it did. And Rebecca, you're absolutely right. The accommodation for graduate students for $300 a month is super. It's a great cost of living. I wish my apartment was that cheap. So, thank you all for being here. We'll see if there's any other questions, and I would be happy to stop and answer those. Ask those for Tyson. But if not, thank you all for being here. Please go into the Accelerate platform, bookmark it. And please use the Accelerate platform to learn more about Murray State University and to apply for your students through there. We do have one more question coming in. So we have an inquiry about an architecture student. if they've studied construction management architecture course, do they automatically qualify as a registered architect? An interesting question.
Okay, yes, that is a good question. And so architecture in the US is, and this is very interesting that you have this question, so thank you. I was helping a student just last semester with this. So yes, we do have a construction management program here at Murray State. Very strong program. It's in our School of Engineering. Basically, you know, how architecture works in the US, it's typically a master's degree. It's a graduate program. You know, to become a licensed architect here in the US, to be able to practice and have a license, you do a master's degree typically. And so our program, our construction management program and construction engineering and management program, that program will prepare a student to go to the master's degree in architecture. So that's kind of how it works here in the US. Now there are some universities that have a combined program where they combine a bachelor's degree with a master's degree. And so I think those programs are typically 5 years. So if a student is, wanting to do that, then yes, those programs that combine the bachelor's plus the master's in 5 years, that would lead to license. Our program, the construction management program and architecture, it doesn't lead to the license, but it does get the student really prepared very well to go into the master's degree. And so we have a lot of students that graduate construction management, architecture, and then they go for the master's degree in architecture. So then they can, once they do the master's degree, they're able to get the license. So typically the bachelor's degree in the US basically is just preparing the students for that graduate program. They're not getting the license from the bachelor's degree.
Excellent.
I hope that helps. Yeah, that's a very good question.
Wonderful. Can O-level students apply for the undergraduate degree?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so that's a great question also. So thank you. O-level students, as long as they do checks, I think they should have an average of C or higher. In those 5 subjects, they can apply for direct admission to a bachelor's program. They can be admitted as a first-year student. Now, if you're working with a student who has A-level subjects, maybe they're doing their A-levels, we can admit those students, and then we can also give them college credit for the A-level subjects that they've completed. So a lot of times, for A-level subjects, I typically get about 6 credits, university credits. So if a student's done, let's say they've done 3 A-level subjects, they apply to Murray State University, we actually give them a half year, 1 semester of college credit for 3 A-level subjects. So that's really good. It allows them to, complete their bachelor's degree a little bit sooner. They can save some money as well on tuition fees. So yes, definitely study college credit here.
Wonderful.
Thank you for that question.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for being here today. A lot of great questions. I will be sending out this recording and a summary to the regional managers who can then send this to you. So if you came in late, you can review these. But again, if you have any questions about the information, please find Murray State University on the Accelerate platform and apply directly from there. And thank you all for attending and all the great questions. And thank you to Tyson for being here to answer all of them.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. It was really nice. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.